Hi, I'm Thomas from Real Guitar. In this lesson, I'm going to give you some practical lead guitar improvisation tips. Improvisation, that's a big word. And you're going to be able to use this right away to take your improvisation to the next level. Let's do this. This is the third video in the series. In the first video, I taught you how to play a blues scale. In the second video, we took that blues scale and started improvising with backing tracks. Now we're going to take things up a notch. In this lesson, we're going to cover a range of techniques and what I call devices to help you start crafting some great sounding lead guitar solos. Watch the entire video first, then go back and pick either one or two of the tips or techniques and integrate that into your guitar playing. To start with, we're going to cover 5 guitar playing techniques that you can experiment with. And again, you don't have to learn them all at once. Pick one or two that interest you the most and get comfortable with it. Then go ahead and use it in your guitar playing. When you're ready, come back and grab another one and start the same process. Technique number 1 is sliding. That's where instead of hitting a note dead on, you slide into it. Listen. Technique number 2 is vibrato. That's where you bend a note slightly, and it goes in and out of pitch. Technique number 3, hammer-on. That's where you strike one note, and then you hammer the second note with your left hand. Number 4 is pull-off, and that's the opposite, where you hit the note and then make the second note by pulling off. Now you can combine the two like this. And finally, there's bending notes. Now I'm going to demonstrate each of the 5 guitar playing techniques with the backing track so you can hear what it sounds like in context. There's the band. So start with the basic slide. Now how about vibrato? Then we got the hammer-on and the pull-off. And you could do a hammer-on pull-off. And then finally, the bend. Let me play a little bit more and I'll show you how I put them all together. Now we're going to talk about some bigger ideas, or what I call devices, to help you craft an entire solo. These are things that help your solos sound interesting and inspire your listeners. The first one is called note follows chord changes. Now what I mean by that is, as you're playing and somebody is playing a G chord, you're going to kind of aim towards playing the G note. Now, it doesn't mean you stay on the G note, but you play a few notes and end up landing on the G or emphasizing the G note. So if I'm playing a G chord, I find the G note and end up there. I might make a melody like this. This kind of playing tends to coordinate well with the chord changes. And it works best if you're dealing with songs that have maybe 3, 4, 5 chord changes. It gets more difficult when you have lots of changes. The second device is to leave space between the notes. I know when I was younger, I thought it was all about how many notes you could play to impress people. But that's not very musical, actually, and it gets boring quickly. What you want to do is create an effect in the listener. And you do that by putting space between notes and making the notes that you do play stand out. So it would sound something like this. The spaces are actually more effective than the notes that I'm playing. Number 3 is related. Milk one note for all it's worth. Now, Santana was famous for this. He'll hit a note and that works better than an electric guitar. But you got the idea, even when you're playing acoustic guitar. Don't underestimate the power of hitting just the right note at the right time and really milking it, either with some technique, vibrato, or a bend, or just hitting it a few times. On the acoustic guitar, it tends to die away, so I'll hit the note more than once. Number 4 is use repeating rhythmic motifs. What I mean by that is use rhythm patterns over and over, even with different notes. So listen to this. The motif is da, 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 da. I'm using different notes, but that rhythm pattern's there, and you can tell it kind of hooks you. And then number 5 is call and response. Make little phrases that one seems to respond to the first one. Here's an example. There's the call, here's the response. Call, response. Now I'm going to show you some of the devices that you can use to kind of craft a solo so it's interesting. Here's a background track that has just 3 chords, G, C, and D. We're going to find the G note, the C note, and the D note. So here's the track. D, C, and then back to G. Now I'm going to add some extra notes. Now, leaving some space between notes. I can go, but spacing will give me a little more pizzazz in my solo. Listen. I also combined going back to the G note there when it went back to G. Now, the next one would be milk individual notes for all they're worth. A little easier actually on the electric guitar, we got some sustain, but I can make this work. Now, repeating patterns, rhythmic patterns, or motifs as they're called in classical music. So listen to this. Here we go. Ready? Hit it. The pattern was da 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 da. You see, it's kind of catchy. And finally, here's an example of call and response. Here's the call. 1, 2, ready, hit it. Call, response. There we go. And finally, I want to encourage you not to get intimidated. There is nothing mysterious about improvisation, and it's definitely not something some people got it and some don't. Everyone can improvise. It's just practice. You can prepare by practicing your scales and exercises. But the best form of practice is to actually practice improvising with a backing track or with a live person if you can do that, and do it regularly, every day if possible. Think of it like learning a language. Certainly, learning grammar and vocabulary is good and helpful, but it doesn't take the place of just going out and talking, fumbling, talking some more, figuring out what works and what doesn't, doing it your own way eventually. And when you practice, listen carefully. When you play a little phrase or something you like, try to do it many times and make it a part of your repertoire. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. If you play something that you don't like, just try something different. Maybe change that phrase or try a new phrase. When you practice regularly, you'll find over time that you start to remember what worked and what didn't work, and you'll be playing more and more of what works for you. Well, that's all I know for now. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, make sure and subscribe to my channel for more free content. And if you're not sure where you should be spending your time to get the fastest results, go to my website and sign up for my free Guitar Success Checklist. After answering a few questions, you'll get a report that'll give you personalized recommendations on where you should be spending your time to get the most focused progress on your guitar playing. To find out more, you can click the link in the description, or you can go directly to my website at www.thomasmichaud.com. I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.